All right, let's dive in. We're taking a look at something pretty fundamental today, basic English greetings.
Yeah.
You actually sent in a script for a language learning video.
Yeah.
Which I think is a super interesting way to think about how we use these phrases, even the ones that seem really simple.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, greetings are interesting because they can be very simple on the surface.
Right.
But there's so much more to them. You know, there's all this cultural context and social nuance that we bring to them.
Yeah. I'm excited to kind of unpack that. So your script actually starts with hello, which seems like the most, kind of universal greeting.
You're right. Hello is something that can be used in almost any situation, whether it's formal or informal. But even though it's versatile, there are some subtle differences in how we use it.
I'm curious about those. What kind of nuances are we talking about here?
Well, if you think about hello compared to hi, your script puts those right next to each other.
Right.
And hello is kind of like the more formal, always appropriate greeting.
Okay.
Like a handshake.
Gotcha.
But hi is a little bit friendlier, a bit more relaxed, more casual.
Oh, hi is more like a fist bump then.
Exactly. Yeah. And you wouldn't really fist bump your boss at a meeting, right?
Right.
So that's kind of how it works with these greetings.
Yeah, that's a really good analogy to kind of make sense of it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, your script also has these time-specific greetings. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I've always wondered about these. Are they actually necessary, or can you just use hello for all of them?
I think hello is like the basic greeting, the basic courtesy.
Okay.
But using those time-specific greetings shows that you're, aware of the time of day and the social situation.
Right.
And it's not essential, but it can make a good impression.
So it's almost like you're saying, I'm not just greeting you, I'm also acknowledging the time that we're sharing together.
Exactly. Yeah. And in some cultures, it's really important to use the right greeting for the time of day.
Right.
It shows that you understand and respect their social norms.
That makes sense. So now let's move on to how are you? I feel like I use this phrase all the time, but honestly, I'm usually not really looking for a detailed answer. It's more of a habit than a genuine question.
You've touched on something really important. How are you has kind of become a social ritual. It's less about, finding out how someone is actually feeling.
Right.
And more about just acknowledging them.
So how do we respond to this ritual? Your script gives a few standard responses like, I'm fine, thank you, and you.
Oh.
Or I'm doing well, thanks. Are those the best ways to respond?
Yeah, those are great responses. They keep the conversation flowing without getting too personal.
Right.
You acknowledge the question, give a brief positive answer, and then politely turn the question back to the other person.
It's amazing how much we can pack into these simple phrases. It's like a little secret code.
It really is. And speaking of codes, let's look at what's up. Is this really a genuine question, or is it just a casual greeting?
I feel like what's up is something you hear in movies and TV shows a lot, like a group of friends hanging out. Is it actually that common in everyday conversation?
Oh, it definitely is, especially among friends or peers. Yeah. But it's not really an invitation to give a long, detailed answer. It's more like a quick check-in, like, hey, what's going on?
So if someone asks me, what's up, I shouldn't launch into a story about my day.
Right, unless they specifically ask for more details.
Okay.
The script suggests some casual replies like, not much, or just hanging out.
Yep.
Those keep things light and informal.
So it's kind of like, what's up, comes in, says hello, and then flies away.
I like that analogy. It really captures the essence of it. It's about connecting, not necessarily having a deep conversation.
Okay, so we've covered hello, hi, the time-specific greetings, how are you, and what's up. Your script also includes nice to meet you and long time no see. Those seem pretty straightforward, but I'm guessing there's more to them than meets the eye.
You're right. I mean, nice to meet you might seem obvious, but it really signals a first-time interaction.
Right.
It's like the formal way to introduce yourself.
And long time no see means you've met the person before.
Yeah, exactly. It acknowledges that you have some shared history, even if it's just a brief encounter.
Okay.
And it often leads to a conversation about what's happened since you last saw each other.
So long time no see is more than just a greeting. It's a way to reconnect.
That's a great way to put it. It's like an invitation to catch up.
That's really insightful. Okay, the last phrase on your script is, how's it going? We already talked about how are you. How is this one different?
How's it going is a little more informal. And it can be about more things than just how someone is feeling.
Okay.
Like, how are you is usually about their health or well-being. Right. But how's it going can be about work or life or just their general mood.
So how's it going? It's kind of like giving them more options.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you're inviting them to share, but without putting too much pressure on them.
This is really making me think about all these little differences.
Yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it?
It is. So your script explains all these greetings really well. I mean, it gives examples and everything. But I wonder, are there any common mistakes people make when using them? Even native English speakers?
Oh, all the time.
Really?
Like sometimes people use a greeting that's too formal for the situation.
Like saying good evening at a lunch with friends.
Exactly. Or using what's up in a job interview.
Oh, yeah. That wouldn't go over well.
No, not at all. And another common mistake is forgetting to reciprocate.
What do you mean?
Like, even if how are you is more of a formality,
Right.
it's still polite to respond and ask the other person how they are.
So it's like an unspoken rule. You have to keep the conversation going.
Exactly. If you ignore someone's greeting, even if it's just a hey,
Right.
it can seem rude.
You mentioned earlier that time-specific greetings can be really important in some cultures. Are there other cultural things to be aware of when using English greetings?
Definitely. Even though English is spoken all over the world,
Right.
the way people greet each other can be different in different cultures.
So it's not just about the words themselves.
No, it's about understanding the cultural context, too.
Does body language play a role in English greetings, like handshakes or hugs?
Oh, absolutely. In formal situations, a handshake is very common.
Okay.
But with close friends or family, hugs might be more appropriate.
And a smile always helps. All right.
A smile makes everyone feel more comfortable.
So for someone who's totally new to English, what advice would you give them about learning these greetings?
I would say to start with the most basic ones.
Okay.
Like, hello, hi, the time-specific greetings, and how are you?
So this is like the foundation.
Exactly. And once you feel comfortable with those, you can start learning some of the more nuanced greetings.
And practice makes perfect, right?
Exactly. The more you use them, the more natural they'll become.
Your script is really helpful for that. It explains everything so clearly.
Yeah, I hope so.
I'm curious, do you think the way we greet each other is changing at all?
That's a good question.
I mean, language is always evolving.
Right.
So maybe greetings are changing too.
With things like texting and social media, we definitely see new greetings popping up.
Yeah, like, hey there, or what's good?
And don't forget about emojis.
Oh, yeah. A wave emoji can be a greeting now.
Right.
It's like we have a whole new language of digital greetings.
Yeah, it is.
But I think those classic greetings will always be around.
I agree. There's something timeless about them.
It's like they're a fundamental part of human connection.
Yeah, I think so.
We've talked about so much today,
We have.
from the simplest greetings to the more complex ones, and even how greetings are changing in the digital age.
It's been a really interesting discussion.
Yeah, it's been a real eye-opener to think about greetings in this much detail.
Right.
They're so ingrained in how we interact.
It's true. We don't always stop to think about them.
So I want to leave our listeners with a little challenge. As we wrap up this deep dive, think about which greetings you use most often and why.
Interesting.
Is it the classic hello? Or maybe you're more of a what's up person?
Yeah, good point.
Whatever it is, think about what it says about you and how you communicate.
And as you go about your day today, pay attention to how other people use greetings.
Oh yeah, good idea.
Notice the little differences in how they say them, the tone, the body language, all of it.
It's like we're sending you all on a mission.
Yeah, like a greeting detective.
Exactly. You might even find a new greeting that you really like.
Oh, that would be fun.
And then you can add it to your own collection.
Expand your horizons.
All right, well, that's about it for our deep dive into English greetings. Thanks for listening, everyone.